13 centuries before modern cameras, before history was properly recorded, a shocking event took place in Arabia. Someone tried to destroy the Kaaba, not Abraha, but another man whose story almost disappeared from history. And what happened to him became a warning for anyone who dared to disrespect the house of Allah. This is the forgotten story of the man who tried to destroy the Kaaba before Abraha. To understand this story, we must first travel back to Arabia, many generations before Islam. At that time, the Kaaba in Makkah was already known as a sacred place. People from different tribes visited it, respected it, and believed it was a holy sanctuary. Even those who worshipped idols still believed the Kaaba had special protection. It was known as Baytullah, the house of Allah. But there was a powerful man who did not respect it. His name was Tubbaʿ, the king of Yemen. The title Tubbaʿ was given to the kings of the Himyarite kingdom in Yemen. These kings ruled a powerful empire in southern Arabia. Their armies were large, their wealth was great, and their influence spread across the region. One of these kings decided to travel north, not for worship, not for pilgrimage, but for conquest. His army marched through Arabia, tribe after tribe, city after city, until he finally reached Makkah. At that time, Makkah was not a huge city. It was a small settlement surrounded by mountains and desert. But despite its size, it had something powerful. It had the Kaaba, and this small cube-shaped building had a deep spiritual importance in the hearts of the Arabs. Even those who worshipped idols still believed the Kaaba had special protection. Even the fiercest warriors hesitated to disrespect it. But Tubbaʿ was different. He looked at the Kaaba and saw only a building, nothing more. Some reports say Tubbaʿ became angry with the people of Makkah. Others say he simply wanted to show his power. But whatever the reason, he made a shocking decision. He ordered his army to destroy the Kaaba. Imagine the fear of the people of Makkah. A powerful king with a massive army standing in their city, commanding the destruction of the most sacred place they knew. The tribes of Makkah had no army large enough to stop him. They could only watch, helpless. But something strange began to happen. Before Tubbaʿ could carry out his plan, a mysterious illness struck him. Suddenly, painfully, his body began to suffer from a strange disease. His skin erupted with wounds, and according to some narrations, worms began to crawl from his body. The pain was unbearable. His soldiers were terrified. No doctor, no healer could explain what was happening. It seemed as if an invisible punishment had begun, and Tubbaʿ realized something. This sickness had started right after he decided to destroy the Kaaba. Fear entered his heart. For the first time, the powerful king began to wonder, was this a punishment from Allah? At that moment, wise scholars traveling with his army advised him. They told him something important. They said, this house is sacred. It was built by Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail, and it has protection from Allah. The king listened carefully. The pain in his body continued, and slowly, realization began to grow in his mind. Perhaps he had made a terrible mistake. Perhaps no king, no army, no ruler had the right to harm the house of Allah. Finally, Tubbaʿ made a decision. Instead of destroying the Kaaba, he would honor it. According to historical narrations, the king repented. He abandoned his plan, and something remarkable happened next. The same king who wanted to destroy the Kaaba became one of the first rulers to cover it with cloth. He ordered a beautiful covering to be placed over the Kaaba, what we today know as the kiswa, the cloth that covers the Kaaba. Some historians say Tubbaʿ was among the earliest kings to introduce this tradition, a tradition that continues even today. And something even more surprising happened. After he honored the Kaaba, his illness began to disappear. Slowly, his body recovered. The strange punishment that terrified him was gone. The king left Makkah, but he left with a completely different heart. Some narrations even say Tubbaʿ accepted belief in the one God. Long before the arrival of Prophet Muhammad, the Quran itself mentions the people of Tubbaʿ. In Surah Ad-Dukhan, Allah says, "Are they better, or the people of Tubbaʿ and those before them?" This shows that Tubbaʿ and his people were known in history, and their story carried lessons for future generations. But here is the most interesting part. This event happened centuries before Abraha, the famous ruler who came with elephants to destroy the Kaaba. And just like Tubbaʿ, Abraha also tried to challenge the sanctity of the house of Allah. But Abraha did not change his mind. He continued his attack, and Allah stopped him in a way the world would never forget, with birds carrying stones. As mentioned in Surah Al-Fil, history repeated the same lesson. Again and again, anyone who tried to harm the Kaaba faced consequences. From Tubbaʿ, who was warned by illness, to Abraha, whose army was destroyed, the message remained clear. The house of Allah is not protected by walls, not protected by armies, but protected by Allah Himself. Today, millions of Muslims travel every year to Makkah. They circle the Kaaba, they pray beside it, they cry, they ask Allah for forgiveness, and they remember that this sacred house has stood for thousands of years. Despite kings, armies, and empires rising and falling around it, and the forgotten story of Tubbaʿ reminds us of something powerful. Even the strongest ruler, even the most powerful king, is nothing when standing against the will of Allah, because history has shown, again and again, those who tried to destroy the Kaaba did not destroy it. Instead, they became part of the warning, and the Kaaba still stands today as a reminder that some places on earth are protected by the command of Allah alone,